Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. This is not your first time. Thank you for coming back. Just real quick, I have a guided meditation, exclusive meditation this weekend on Saturday. If you'd like to join that, go to k33academy.com/store. All of the proceeds from this point forward for the comfort care meditation will go towards helping a homeless member of our community. So I asked what this reading was going to be about, and what I heard is dark things are being attempted. Hold on. Dark things are being attempted. Yeah, what's new? There's nothing new to that. There's nothing new to that. What? Okay. I gotta make this quick. Gotta make this quick. Make it quick, girl. All right. How'd you guys sleep last night? Last night was some weird energy. What? It was a weird energy, weird dreams, weird everything. So dark things are being attempted. I don't know if it's by a human, or if it's by something else. Who knows? We're about to find out, though. We're about to find out. Okay, let's see. Okay. There's attempts to block. Again, what's new? There's attempts to block a rebirth, like a coming forward of other aspects of your personality and purpose. Why would someone want to try and block that? Well, because you're going to reach a level of frequency, a level of consciousness awareness that will make you pretty much, that you'll be able to go beyond their grasp. They won't be able to access you anymore. So it's kind of like a last ditch effort to prevent you from moving forward, right? And again, trying to block your ability to create things, create situations and opportunities for yourself. That should not be allowed. None of this should be allowed, you know? They're trying to get you upside down and cold towards yourself. They're trying so hard. I don't know who they are. It might just be like something to do with planetary alignment. It might have something to do with an actual person. It might have something to do with like your natural organic ascension mechanics. We don't know quite yet. Okay. Now, summer, as we're approaching summer, it's going to be fruitful, but you have to take responsibility for the way things are going. That means you have to take full control of what direction you're headed. If you don't take full control of what direction you're headed, you know what's going to happen. All of these opportunities that really are right there on the outer fringes of your space, they're being prepared to be brought to fruition by your soul. You're going to miss out on those things. You're just, you're going to miss out on those things, and it's going to be unfortunate. It is. You don't want to miss out on opportunities that carry with them the capacity to improve your life exponentially, right? You have to create balance between the potential and the reality. Yes, you have to deal with the reality of how things are going. You can't pretend like there's no problems if there's a problem. But you also have to recognize, and I don't know why this is coming up, but you have to recognize the ways in which you complicate your situation when you overthink, when you assume worst case scenario, when you this, when you that. It's just, whew, whew, we don't. You don't need that. You don't need that unnecessary complication. It's best to try and make it a point to simply flow with your journey, flow with the path of what you're trying to do. These are good cards, actually. These cards that are next are really, really good. It's going to require something on your end, but I'll show you. The foundation is being laid for a manifestation that leads to prosperity. That's good stuff. The foundation is being laid for your prosperity to enter back into your life, but it requires you letting go of the very thing that's been preventing you from allowing this into your life. Okay, it might be a person, it might be a circumstance, it might be an environment like a job, a living situation. There's so many different possibilities. Only you really know what it is that you keep holding on to, and it's like, you need to let it go, but it's hard. It's hard. You've become so committed. Yeah. I think for some of us, we become so committed to seeing our suffering all the way through, right? We're like convinced that this is what we have to experience right here, right now. And no one is going to convince us to allow ourselves to move forward. I mean, the choice is yours. The choice is definitely yours. If you allow yourself to move forward through this, some good things could happen. Some really good things can happen, right? Just because you take two steps in the wrong direction does not mean you have to walk down the wrong path all the way until the dead end, right? Sometimes you got to just recognize when you've made a wrong turn and make an immediate U turn and get back on the right road, right? Okay. So, a lack of awareness is leading to a lack of integrity. Um, hmm, okay. I don't know if this is talking about someone else. Um, there is a person who doesn't fully have an awareness of the gravity of their malignant actions, right? And it's been the fuel for the lack of their integrity. They are just speeding down the road of no integrity. And it's causing the darkness within them to be projected externally, outside of them. Saturn, black cube. If you guys know what that means, I'm saying. Do you guys know about the black cube? You guys know about Metatron? I mean, Metatron and Metatron's cube is like this huge thing in spiritual communities, right? Did you know it's a fallen matrix? Metatron's cube is a fallen matrix. It has to do with white hole, black hole technologies. Technologies that siphon your life force. It taps into the daisy of death rather than the actual flower of life. The flower of life, as we're shown, is it separates you from the totality and rejuvenation of creation. Something is trying to separate you from rejuvenation. This thing, it's a massive attempt, massive attempt. And if you're not going to swallow your pride and allow yourself to admit to yourself and maybe even to someone else that you've made a mistake, that you've made a misstep, that you are sorry or whatever it is, it's concerning. The ramifications that you're going to be dealing with and living with long term is very concerning. Very, very, very concerning. But, again, I believe in you having the ability to decide for yourself, the opportunity, the ability to decide for yourself what it is you want to experience in this life. Make sure that whatever you decide, it's not rooted in upside down emotions. When the emotions are upside down, there's a tendency for you to get dropped on your head. And if you don't want to feel the sensation of being dropped on your head, then you need to make sure you are flying right side up, that you are properly oriented in your space. Okay. New chapter. Do you need to start a new chapter? It's almost like the sense of the message here is not about starting a new chapter. It's about recognizing that you are being tasked to kind of lay the outline down, right? When you're writing a paper, it's much more helpful if you have an outline and you just kind of fill in the outline, and that creates the structure for the paper that you're writing. It's kind of like that. There's less emphasis on finishing the paper and more emphasis on the way you go about structuring it in the creation stages, right? That's kind of like the message. You're creating something right now. An opportunity is being created, and something outside of you, or if you have a parasitic circumstance, it's probably inside of you too. Something is trying so hard to interfere, to stop your process, to prevent you from creating the outline that will ensure the success of this new chapter you are creating. And you're not going to know this for quite some time until everything's written out and you have the opportunity to sit down and read what you've written. You actually won't know what it is. Unless, of course, you're listening to what is actually being said right now and you're grasping the gravity of this advanced knowledge. You're being given knowledge in advance. That's usually to give you the upper hand, because there's going to be a lot of attempt to interfere. So part of the ways I'm able to overcome things readily is because I'm always given advanced knowledge of elevations in struggle. And as I'm given the advanced knowledge, I can get into the proper mindset, the proper mental space to address that struggle in its early stages. As it begins, I'm able to recognize it, like, oh, this is what my soul was talking about. All right, I need to nip this right now, because it's much easier to get rid of a weed that's grown maybe 2 inches versus a weed that's fully established and created an entire field. It's much more labor intensive. The longer you allow something to propagate into your field of manifestation, the more labor intensive the correction will be, right? Yeah, sometimes I can be a bit bullish and be a little bit too advanced. But for the most part, if you're going to listen to your soul, you're not just going to listen and then watch it play out and be like, oh, dang, it was accurate. No, you're supposed to hear it and do something with the information you're given in advance. Oh my gosh. I think that's the problem, is that you've been receiving the information, but you've been just watching it play out, thinking like, oh my gosh, holy crap, my soul has been telling me this and it's playing out. Oh my God. Like, do something to stop it. Do something to stop it. Years ago, like many, many years ago, when I began to kind of share with some relatives my precognitive abilities, I remember one time, gosh, I had the craziest dream that my most favoritist aunt, who's basically like a second mother to me, um, that I was at the reception for her funeral. It was weird. I didn't see her. I didn't see her casket. We were just at someone's house, one of my cousin's houses. And I was walking through, and everyone was dressed in black. And one of my other aunts, as I walked past her, she was having a conversation, and she was just like, yeah, it was just such a massive heart attack. There was no way she was going to survive that. She just couldn't. And I was like, oh my gosh, my aunt died. Yeah, I woke up in tears. And so I reach out to my cousin, her daughter, and I'm like, cousin, really seriously, just humor me. I know it's going to sound crazy because, I'm crazy, but can you take your mom for a physical? Like, make sure her heart is okay. Just take her for a physical or something, right? Just schedule that. Humor me. And my cousin's like, okay, well, what happened? And I told her, and she's like, yeah, I'm sure that's not going to happen. But yeah, okay, I'll schedule something. And I was like, okay. So a week later, it's my aunt's birthday, and I go to her house, and I'm just like, I don't want to leave her. I am constantly hugging on her. I have my arms draped over her. I'm just like, I don't want to leave her. And then it was late and it was time to go home. And I was like, okay, happy birthday, Auntie. And I went home. And then the next morning, my other aunt called me and she's like, where's your mom? And I was like, she's still at work. Is everything okay? It's like 7, 8 in the morning. And she's like, oh, your auntie had a heart attack. And I was like, oh my God, she died. I started crying so hard. And my aunt was like, calm down, calm down. No, she's at the hospital. She's at the hospital. She's going to need bypass surgery. And I was like, oh, okay. And I get to the hospital and I'm like, talking to my cousin, her daughter. And she's totally like, if you hadn't told me, I would have just told her to go to sleep. And I was like, well, what happened? And she said that that night after everyone left, because it was my aunt's birthday, right? So everyone left. That night, my aunt was in bed and she was having a sense of impending doom. She didn't have the classic signs of like radiating pain to the left arm. It was just tightness in the chest, pressure, sense of impending doom, anxiety. And my cousin told me, if you hadn't said something to me, I would have just assumed that she was stressed out because bills are coming, bills are due. And I would have just told her, just go to bed, quit tripping, go to bed. And I was like, oh my gosh. She goes, yeah. But as soon as she told me that, because my cousin was in nursing school at that point, she's like, as soon as she told me that, I was like, get out of bed. I'm driving you to the ER right now. And if you don't get out of bed, I'm just calling 911. And my aunt lived. Yeah. She was in the very, very early stages of a massive heart attack. And because she was already at the hospital, they were able to take quite a bit of interventive action and they were able to bust that clot. They saw that she needed a triple bypass surgery, which she had the following day, right? When you're given this information, it's not like you're just being told gossip. You have to do something about it. You have to do something with it, right? You can't prevent everything, but oftentimes, this is my personal perception. I'm never given anything that I am not to do something proactive with, either to mentally prepare myself for an impending event or to take the necessary action, evasive maneuvering to prevent it, right? So you're being given advanced knowledge. There's attempts to block your path. Are you just going to be like, oh, well, there it goes. And now I can't go forward? Hell no. I would be like, okay, which bulldozer am I using? Because I'm busting through that biatch. That's literally how I am. Oh, how cute. You want to block my path? Okay, I'm going to bulldoze through you. Are you ready? Sometimes you got to have that mindset. Okay. Now, communication. You're receiving communications from soul. You are receiving communications from soul. Our community is comprised of quite a few people who have a very elevated soul purpose, right? People who don't understand um, because they still live, exist willingly in a compete compare program. They'll think like, oh, there goes Emmy again trying to say her people are superior. Okay, and if we are, what are you going to do about it? What's the point of that logic, that mindset? What's the point of it? Nothing. There's no point in it. What I'm saying here is that there are quite a few members of our community who are being tasked to be part of changing the trajectory of the human consciousness evolution. You need to take your proper place at this point. There is something that is stopping you from stepping into your proper place. Allow yourself to be bold in your reclamation of what your birthright and divine purpose is. Don't be apologetic as you reclaim your proper place. You don't have to apologize for existing. Still in the process of learning this. It's a very difficult lesson to learn, where you don't have to apologize for existing. You don't have to be sorry consistently for being the amazing person that you are. Our community is full of amazing people that never are acknowledged for what they are, an amazing, very divine, beautiful expression of creation. The most amazing people are people who are immersed in really difficult circumstance consistently, with zero acknowledgement of how amazing they are. Like, I had someone babysitting Joy Joy, right? This was a while back. Someone was babysitting Joy Joy. For the most part, Joy Joy is extremely well behaved. She doesn't really break things. She might be licking things, like if you get oil on it or whatever. She might whine here and there, but for the most part, like, she doesn't really do anything. She listens, right? She can be a little bit rowdy in her zoomies, but that's about it. And it's this thing of like, oh my God, we just lucked out. We didn't luck out. We didn't luck out. You know why? From infancy, because we've had her since she was a baby. From infancy, she has been conditioned by her environment. I have all boys. I'm not always in the room. I'm not saying they physically harm her, but they're always like poking fun at her. Always. Always. That's how they play with her. And she's grown accustomed to it. That's just their dynamic. They cuddle her as much as they poke fun of her. And because of that, she knows her place. She knows that when she gets too rowdy and she accidentally scratches one of the boys with her nails, that someone's going to raise their voice like, ow. And she's going to be very apologetic. She's going to approach slowly. She's going to be very gentle. She's going to try and apologize. We are conditioned by our environment. All right? Myself, I've lived in an environment pretty much my entire childhood, young adulthood, all the way into my actual adulthood, where none of the gravity of me was ever acknowledged. I don't seek that out at this point. I don't seek out to be acknowledged. I just know that I need to help because I've been conditioned to be a helper. I've been conditioned to be a nurturer. And someone would be like, oh my God, that's so unfair. No, it's appropriate for me. Could you imagine how wildly out of fucking control my ego would be if I constantly heard, like, oh, you're so pretty, you're so beautiful, look at you, so smart. Like, I never heard any of that. I never heard any of that. That is not my concern. Whether someone thinks I'm beautiful or not, it's irrelevant to me. I don't seek that out. I'm grateful for the way I experienced my early life because it conditioned me to be focused on what is important, right? Take a look at the way you lived in your earliest parts of life. Was it difficult? Did it force you to remain in a space of humbleness where, although you're aware that you have the capacity to do things other people can't do, it's kind of just like, well, I don't know. I do it. Why? Why do you ask? Sometimes the hardships that we experience, especially earlier in life, that's a very conditioning we need to make it much more difficult for parasitic things to shove our ego completely out of center, to get us so imbalanced in our space that we are like, God. You're on a sacred journey, and this sacred journey does not allow for you to take breaks. It's going to be okay. You always manage to be okay. And it's going to be okay. Allow yourself to really just move through the process. Don't get stiff, keep stretching, become flexibly strong. The goal is flexible strength, where you're not so committed to a specific outcome, a specific set of details coming to fruition, right? I mean, that's the worst. That's the worst. Dispel darkness. You have to get rid of those dark, dense thoughts that are trying to derail you. There's a lot of thought inception that's happening. I was talking very heavily about this in all of my programs. Thought inception has been insane lately. For those of you who are having weird dreams, typically what I'm seeing lately is that thought inception, if you're highly aware when you are awake, thought inception will be attempted while you are asleep, right? So, metamorphosis in reverse. Something is trying to halt your ascension mechanics. How are they doing this? By creating enough cognitive dissonance that you are rejecting yourself. It's a very easy way to do that. Where you don't question yourself because you're afraid that you're going to see confirmation for all of your shortcomings and all of these other things. Like, no, don't be scared of what you see. You need to be able to see where you're at in order to know how to move through that. Right? You have to be able to know how to move through things. And part of knowing how to move through things is letting yourself experience what the different densities feel like, being aware of where you're at and what works to get you out of that, what causes you to go deeper into that. And if it's something that you want to dive deeper into, take the movement, the motion, the direction that takes you deeper. You want to explore yourself deeper, go deeper. The only way to really hurt your feelings is to believe a lie and hold on to that lie as though it were the truth. So then, when you are finally faced with the reality of what the truth actually is, now your feelings are hurt because no, I didn't. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. You are amazing. You have done amazing things in life. Just because you ignore that doesn't mean other people will join you in the ignoring of the profoundness of you. Over the years, I've had people really just like, whoa, I've never met someone like you. Okay, well, because I'm fucking weird. Are you saying I'm weird? Because I am. It's okay. I'm not tripping. And they're like, no, it's like I've never met someone whose brain functions like yours. And I'm like, oh, I have Asperger's. My mom was a savant. And they're like, no. I always have some type of explanation as to why people experiencing me and receiving me in a way that's like profound to them can be explained away. Like, it's just normal. I'm just weird. It's just this. It's just that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you cannot grasp the gravity of you. There are people who are being brought across your path who can. And some of the people who grasp the truth of how profound you are the darkest people who try the darkest things because now they've met someone who can serve as a barometer for their power. Like, they'll try you because you're powerful in their eyes. And if they can take you down, that means they're powerful. Now, that means they're a coward. Never succumb to the cowardly behavior of a coward. Like, oh, you want to take me down from behind a screen? Fuck you. I don't give a shit. That's literally my reaction to much of that. Fuck you. I don't give a shit. Yeah. I don't care. You have issues. They're not mine. Deal with it somewhere else. That's my logic. Yeah, you don't have to waste your time with that, but just because you're not wasting your time with other people's issues does not mean you pretend there are no issues being created by other people. That's how you compound the actual issue. You address it right then and there. Address it right then and there. Yep. Take it head on. It's not enough to grab the bull by the horns. You got to twist. You got to dig your heels in and twist and get that mofo off balance so it could be on its side and you can wrap it up. Wrap it up. We call them thumb warriors. I call them bitches. I call them demon horitas. Yeah, no, I don't need to be nice. Not when it comes to people like that. I don't need to be patient and think of, oh, hurt people, hurt people. I don't care if hurt people hurt people. I will not allow you to hurt me or members of my community. That's that. That is a decree from the royal of this space. I'm saying I will not allow anyone, including myself, anyone in this community to be harmed because someone is having issues. It's got nothing to do with us. Right? Right. Okay. So card number 15, Fire Cleanser. Burn it up. Sometimes you just got to burn through all that, you know, overgrowth. Don't let other people's stuff taint your perception of yourself, right? It's not worth it. For some of us, a lot of the reason the issues are able to take root, get a hold, is because we're not watching, we're not observing. We're too busy, super zoomed in to the minute details that we don't really need to be zoomed into. Okay. Twin ray healing in reverse. Let me say it. As of right now, the twin stuff has to be put to the side, if not in the full on basura. Good God. Good God. Yeah, no, it really needs like that. Don't worry about that twin stuff. Just set it aside. There's things that you need to address right now. These are things that are imminent, things that are headed your way, opportunities, attempts. It's both positive and negative all at the same time. So you have to allow yourself to really you have to allow yourself to be aware of what is needing to be the priority. You can't have a list of priorities. Like, come on now. You can only have one priority. If you have a list of priorities, those are not priorities. That's a to-do list, right? A priority, by definition, is the most important thing. If you're going to have several most important things, then that's a to-do list, right? So, rebirth of magic, again, attempts to halt it, to stop it. Also, secondary message, I'm being told the twin ray healing thing needs to be set aside because that's been infiltrated. There's something parasitic going on that is causing a tugging between twins, and that tugging is being used as a way to distract you. There are other more important things that are needing to be addressed right now. I cannot emphasize that enough. Right? Okay. Galactic heritage. Really allowing yourself to take in the return of certain gifts. A lot of people have gifts that are going bonkers activating during this period. So let it activate. Let it activate, learn to control it. It's all good. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Um, I know for some it's a scary thing because some of y'all are potent. Just, bathe in the knowledge of how powerful you are. If you've been with me for some time, you probably share a comparable level of integrity. That means you're not interested in hurting anyone. As a matter of fact, you're probably paranoid that you're going to hurt someone on accident. Stop. You're the last person who would hurt anyone. Stop. Allow your gifts to develop. You're going to need those very soon. Allow them to develop. Allow yourself to learn how to intentionally harness them with accuracy, efficacy. It's not enough to have gifts. You have to know how to use them. And if you can't use them with intention and accuracy, then that can become a liability. It can. There's a potentiality for that to become a liability. So learn how to harness what is naturally for you. Ancestral magic. Be careful about ancestral work during this period. Those lines are also trying to be infiltrated. Twin lines, ancestral lines those are some very powerful channels to enter your space. You have to secure those channels. Maybe I will do expedites today and I'll do some ancestral work and twin work. Who knows? Depends on what my schedule is. But those two specific lines into your space, there's been heavy attempts for the past couple of weeks. I don't know if you've been noticing it. I haven't really been talking about it publicly too much. I have been heavily discussing it with my classes. It's a lot. It's a lot. We're going to get through this period. And you want to make sure you put the work into fortifying yourself. So as you go through this period, you're not just going to be depleted, you're also going to be rejuvenated, right? To the person who's trying to stab me in the back while I'm live streaming, you're really about to get yourself fucked up for real. It's not getting through my buffer zones. It's not getting through. Why are you bringing it up? Because Michael is telling me to warn you. I'm not feeling anything. Michael's telling me to warn you. You're not going to get fucked up by me. You're going to get fucked up by Michael. Listen. I'm in a place right now within myself where I am hyper fixated on accomplishing very profound things, not just for myself, but for our community. I cannot and will not be bothered by your bullshit. And when I get into those types of mental spaces, you know what happens? The many things that defend me 28 hours a day. Yeah, they're set loose. Because, see, I'm like, I'm totally I can defend myself. You guys don't have to defend me. But when I'm in that space where I'm hyper fixated on the task at hand, they are set loose in my field. And they will defend me with no mercy. If you want to continue, go right ahead. I really don't care at this point. But just know you're very close to triggering a twin response. And I think that guy is going through something. I'm pretty sure he's going through something. He seems very agitated. That's not my concern. My concern is accomplishing things for our community, bringing to fruition the different projects that have been paused because of other assholes just like you, right? Yeah, you're not the only one that tries when I'm live. You notice I still continue to go live with no fear. Why? Because the peasantry of a basic fucking human cannot undo the will of my soul. You cannot undo the will of soul. Motherfucker, I couldn't undo it either. As much as I tried, I couldn't stop my progression. So if you want to be made an example of, go right ahead. Go right ahead. I won't feel bad because you've earned that. It's the reaction you want to the confirmation, you're weak. I had to be told by Michael, of all people. I couldn't even feel any of your energy because you're so weak. You got your confirmation. You suck. Work harder. And the system you're using sucks. You think you can attack someone with Reiki? That's fucking harmonic universe 1 frequencies. Dimension 1, 2, and 3. That's the base of the base of the base. That's basic energy. You got your confirmation. Yeah, now you feel stupid because you're acting stupid. So knock it off. Yeah. I have pizza waiting for me downstairs. And I have to go ahead and run a few errands in town. So I must go. I must go. Don't let people and their stupidity get in the way of you achieving what you were custom created to achieve. I know within myself is a potentiality to achieve things that don't just benefit me, but greatly benefit the whole of humanity. I will not stop. I will not be stopped. I will not be slowed down. I will not be diverted. Ever. And every time people try and do these things, all you do is ignite another flame inside me. It's a whole fucking inferno in me at this point. You will never stop me. I know that with certainty. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love being triggered to the degree that I can just speak openly about the fact that I will never stop. Until the entirety of humanity is no longer suffering, I will never stop. I don't give a fuck who tries. I will never stop. And you will not corrupt me. Why? Because I'm not interested in money. I'm not interested in power. I'm not interested in being a celebrity or any of that shit. I just want people to stop hurting. How do you corrupt that? And I'm fucking honest enough and ballsy enough to not give a shit about things I don't need to give a shit about. How do you corrupt that? You don't. You learn from the failures of others who have tried and you just keep it moving. Pick another target because this one fucking shoots back. You're weird. You're weird. You're like impressed. You're fucking weird, yo. You're new here, aren't you? You're new here. You were drawn by the title of the video. And then you saw me with no makeup and you see I'm Asian and you thought, yeah, this right here. That's why it's like that. Because people like you will always underestimate someone like me. And I'm also small. Most people I come across will be much larger than me. They never see it coming. They never see me coming. That's okay. Makes my job easier. Be weird somewhere else. Your attention is kind of weird. I'm weird too, and the fact that I'm calling you weird is weird. Yeah. Ew. Ew. You're not inspired. You're like aroused. It's gross. You're gross. Gross. I gotta go. That's ew. I just took a shower. Ew. I need to. Don't let gross people make you feel gross. I gotta go. I got errands to run. Bye, everyone. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live. In addition, if you were here last night, oops. If you were here last night and saw what happened with Sinbad Lone Wolf, please, if you're able, and it resonates, please do consider sending a donation for Sinbad Lone Wolf. And there's the link right there. I probably should have, excuse me, let me space that out a little bit. That you guys can click the link. There. So go ahead and donate whatever amount you can. If you would like to donate by purchasing a ticket for the Comfort Care Meditation, go to k33academy.com and you could do that, and you'll be able to donate as well as be part of the Comfort Care Meditation this Saturday. I am huge on doing what I can, doing what I can. Sinbad is a 59-year-old member of the community who, for 95 days now, has been living in their car. That's very sad. You know, they just need a little break. So the goal is to get enough donations to maybe hopefully get like 3 days a week in a motel so they can shower and just, stretch out on a bed, nothing fancy. And then maybe if there's leftover funds, we can get a car bed, which there's some that are inflatable. They make it possible to sleep in the trunk if you have a hatchback, or in the second row of the back row of your four-door vehicle, if that's what you have. Makes it a little more comfy. I would love to finally get to a point where we can just end homelessness completely, or it's not just one person at a time. But until we're there, whenever my heart calls me to, even if it's just one person at a time, we got to do something. We got to do something. So I love you guys. I'll see you again very soon. Don't let shitty people, make your day shitty. You have the option to keep on going in a direction that feels empowered and just amazing, in alignment. There's more than 1 million homeless people. There's millions of homeless people. There's ways to overcome it. There's ways to grow enough that yields enough food in one harvest to feed all of them. There's ways. And we're going to start implementing those ways. That's the goal. Absolutely. We got this. We got this. Guys, have an amazing and beautiful and empowered day. I'll maybe see you this afternoon, this evening for Expedites. We shall see. Bye, guys.